International relations is an academic discourse that deals with the study of relationships among states and non state actors. What is a state? A state has four characteristics. It should have a defined territory, it should have a permanent population, it should have a government, and that government should be sovereign enough to make diplomatic relationships with other states. Now, when this is state, sometimes the term of nation state is used. What is a nation state? The concept of nation state dates back to the Peace of Westphalia that happened in 1648 after the end of 30 years war in Europe. The Peace of Westphalia concluded that no state will interfere in the domestic affairs of other states and that each state shall respect the territorial sovereignty of other states. In other words, the concept of one nation, one state emerged. And when a nation has a state, it is certain that the patriotic feelings would start emerging in that nation. And that is called nationalism. Every state uh, wants to its nations to love it and accept it as it is. So that is nationalism, and that is quite a positive term. But when the feelings of nationalism reach a certain limit and exceeds it, then it is called hyper-nationalism, and that is quite a negative term. And some other terms that are used with respect to hypernationalism are chauvinism or jingoism, or for instance xenophobia. Now we go to some game theories that are very important in international relations. The first one is prisoner's dilemma. Prisoner's dilemma is basically a story of two prisoners who are given choices. Both prisoners are taken to different rooms, so they do not know what the other prisoner would say when questioned. Both prisoners are told the conditions. They are told that if they both confess of their crimes, they would be given punishment of 5 years each. That is, if they both confess. If they both stay silent, they would be given a punishment of 1 year each. And that if one stays silent and the other confesses, the one who stays silent will be given a punishment of 10 years, and the one who confesses will be set free immediately. So, both of the prisoners, they do not trust each other. They started to think that if I stay silent, thinking that the other would stay silent, both would be given 1 year punishment each. But what if I stay silent and the other prisoner speaks up? He confesses. Then I will be given a punishment of 10 years and he would be set free. And the other prisoner thinks the same. So what happens is, instead of they both staying silent and given a punishment of only 1 year each, they both confess. And then they both are given a penalty of 5 years each. So the main theme of prisoner's dilemma is this, that states do not trust each other and they both have loss. Another game theory is security dilemma. Security dilemma means that states are conscious of their security. Now, the system of the world is anarchic. There is no central government, no world police to regulate it. So, every state has to think of its security by its own. So, what happens is that if one state tries to increase its security, the other state, its neighbor, or maybe any state, would think that this state in particular is trying to increase its military power to counter my state. So, what happens is the other state would start increasing its military power, even though that state does not have the intention of attacking it. But the states do not trust each other. The environment of the system is anarchic. So this state would increase its military power. Now, this state that already has started to make up its military power would increase its military power even more, because it is thinking that this state is trying to counter it. So uh, an arms race starts. This is also a very important term in international relations. Arms race is this, that one state build military power and the other state starts to increase its military power with respect to that. Hence, as a result, both states, or for instance all states, because every state is thinking the same and increasing its military power to be able to secure itself. As a result, a zero sum game starts. Zero sum game is this, that the benefit of one is the loss of another. A non zero sum game is its opposite. Non zero sum game means that uh, the both the state can have profit or both the state can have loss, but usually the zero sum game triumphs over the non zero sum game, because the system of the world is anarchic and every state considers its profit in the loss of another state. Here, another very important term is balance of power. In any region, or for instance in the whole world, states try to maintain a balance of power. Whenever there is a state, an established hegemon, or for instance a hegemon of the region, other states start to counter it by increasing their military might or economic might. That is, they increase their power so that the hegemony of one state cannot maintain. And that is the balance of power. Balance of power is very important in international relations. Now we go to the international security, that is also related to the balance of power. International security is this, that the states and the world overall try to maintain a secure environment for relating to military as well as human security. Now the world is moving towards human security from military security, but the military is still very important. So basically, the international security can be maintained by three different ways. Some say a unipolar world is more stable, some say a bipolar world is more stable, neo-realists say that the bipolar world is more stable, and some say that a multipolar world will be more stable. Unipolar world is this, that there should be a single hegemon, that is a one hegemon in the world that can regulate the whole world better. This is the hegemonic stability theory. And another one is bipolarity. Bipolarity is there are two hegemons in the world. The world is divided into two camps, as such in the Cold War era. So, at one hand, there was a capitalist US hegemon, and at the other side, there was a communist Soviet Russia. And the world was divided into two camps, one supporting the NATO and the other Warsaw Pact. And neo-realists support this. They say that this is better for the security of the world. Another thing is multipolarity. As we see now, the world is moving towards some sort of multipolarity in which USA is at one hand, and on the other hand there is China as well as Russia, and India is also increasing its military and economic might, and Western world is also there. So some sort of multipolarity is again coming. Now there is another term frequently used, that is deterrence. Deterrence is used by a state to stop the other state from attacking it. Usually the weapons of mass destruction or atomic bombs are used as an instrument of deterrence. It is said that atomic bombs are not to be used, but they are a mean to deter the other state from attacking it. We will discuss the first strike capability or second strike capability and mutually assured destruction later on.